Hey yo, this is my last Pdai video ever. The DisproveX sacrifice is live. Before I get into the material here we have to discuss today, a very serious matter that was briefly touched upon by Ricky, but has not. The DisproveX sacrifice is a sacrifice where you can sacrifice/donate to prove to yourself that ProveX is a fucking dud like everything else. Maybe I'm wrong, but and I hope I am, because if I'm wrong, then you're all rich ×3, except none of us are rich. Even those of us who sold Pulsechain at a profit way higher than where it is today, you know, even if you sold Hex at 20 or 30 cents, apparently, you know, people who were OG lobby boys, really bigged up by Ricky and best friends of, what's his name, Maddie? He's not rich, dog. He got a bunch of coins and bullshit and sacrifices too. God bless him, you know. He's following his leader, so God bless him. He's the smart guy, right? So he's down bad, like everyone else is down bad. But now we come to the golden question again. Me, because I'm not rich, like y'all ain't rich, I came up with this cool idea that you could donate to the DisproveX sacrifice address. I'm gonna move to a tiny / affordable home. I'm gonna talk down this really nice place I seen. As soon as, you know, I get to the goal that I'm looking to raise here, it'll be a nice donation, help out a great family, a content creator, you know, yeah, all that stuff, so that I can continue to come here and preach the good news and keep you guys up to date on what matters with the Pulsechain ecosystem. So now, don't forget, down in the description or pinned comment, that's where you can donate. We're not being gluttonous here. We're only asking that if you listen to this video and if you have ever ignored any of my previous warnings about Hex going to a penny or less while waiting on Pulsechain to launch, and even after somehow, just, you got $1, you know, just $1, you know, every dollar counts, and one by one we'll get there. So now into the content. I made a previous video about Pdai, the infinite money glitch, apparently, that is sucking all the money out of the chain, according to Ricky. You know he hate watching my videos. he subscribed for a whole day just to say some dumb shit, so he got put on timeout. Because, like, what's the point of talking? Like, and if you're not saying that matters, what the fuck are you even saying, right? You didn't tell everybody Hex was going to a penny or less, or that, you know, he hoped Pulsechain would surprise you like Hex did, but it didn't. It did the complete opposite. It just went to fucking, you know, it's dipping, and it's the dip that keeps dipping. Come to find out, after many successful shills and mentions by the founder of Pulsechain, Ricky Smartwin, about Pdai and all of its massive gains, with the tiny liquidity pool it had, which is by design, by the way, get you to FOMO in, right? Because somebody has the ability to infiniment Pdai, and they slow rug that shit, right? And they've been slow rugging that shit. And somebody, for some reason, did all this before the chain launched. Now, I don't know about you, but my spidey sense, and even more importantly, my common sense, says that it could have only been, by reason of deduction, Ricky or his devs. Let's just apply Occam's razor here, you know, where the most likely the most likely conclusion is the one that it needs the least amount of assumption. So the facts are, at least according to the Pdai lore bros, and something that Ricky has never, ever, 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 ever once denied, is that someone, we don't know who, manipulated and minted billions and billions of Pdai before Pulsechain actually was open to the public. So that leaves Ricky and or any of his devs, whether in collusion or in part. And so we had a solo rogue guy who did that. Someone with a deep, infinite knowledge of how the DAI contracts worked on Ethereum, and could take advantage of the minting process that they discovered before the chain was public to anyone else. Now, interestingly enough, Ricky doesn't really like to big up or shout out a lot of things, but he did so for Pdai more than one occasion. You know, he really wanted to put it in everyone's face that it went up this many 1000x or something and blah, blah, blah. That was a move designed to get you to FOMO in and believe at least that he was supporting that coin so that you bought in. What you didn't know is, well, what you should have known is you probably thought like the OA, it's never going to sell. But whoever minted a lot of fucking coins, they did sell. Pdai went up a lot. God bless it. But not only did Pdai go up a lot, God bless it, but it went down a lot. And somebody got a group of people very dedicated to go to communities all over the place, because I saw it in several telegrams, okay, where individuals were alluding to the fact that it would be very good for your things that you do, including Pulsechain and the core coins, to pair them and, pair your new creations with Pdai and burn the liquidity, and your coin would be supported. Now, naturally, because someone decided beforehand that they would pump this coin, this LP, because it's, even though there were 20 billion DAI out there, that wasn't what was in the liquidity pool. And when you have a bunch of funny money represented, funny wallets that got free coins, it's very easy to use those coins when they ended up with a dollar value eventually to pump the price of this coin, the perceived value. And so people were told, to thin out that liquidity and some of the DAI that was available. If, say, you were going to put $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 of liquidity for example, you need to half that. So say you'd have to buy, if it was 20K, you need to buy 10,000 worth of Pdai, which supported the Pdai price. Then you would throw it in the burn address with your lock liquidity for, say, your shitcoin or project you made on Pulsechain. And as someone very deterministically and intentionally pumped the price just enough to create that FOMO and that buzz and get everybody who had a few in their wallet excited, it would support and help your coin, because that's how V2 LPs work, right? You remove some coins, blah, 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 pair it against your shit coins. It makes your shit coin appear like it has a lot of value. However, okay, this is a neat way to suck all the money out of the chain, which years now, even just a few months ago somehow, Ricky had finally made a tweet that's why the chain is down so bad after he shelled it, okay? Big mistake on his part. I think it would be less egregious if the lure wasn't that someone did something to make all the Pdai that's rugging the entire liquidity out of Pulsechain. If they didn't do something to create all those coins before the chain launched, I don't think Ricky would. I don't think you could look at him sideways or have any fault on him for doing that. A founder should celebrate something doing well on his chain. But then when it all started going left, now he's turned from, hey, I showed this to you, to I'm going to be the hero and tell you that, hey, man, the reason prices are down is because someone keeps minting fucking Pdai. And I have a good theory about this, but it's just a theory. I don't want anyone to take anything I'm saying as fact. I just want you to use your own critical thinking skills, okay? And say, if somebody, right, use your own, like I say, use your own critical thinking skills. If Ricky turns around and plays hero and says, hey, that's what's taking all the money out. Oh, shit. Then he makes a tweet that says, wow, and you know what? It can't even be fixed because someone clearly suggested that they run the shutdown of the whatever and blah, blah, blah. You can find his tweets that talk about it. He said it doesn't even do what you think it does. And then maybe a month after that, he said the Pdai fuckery may, and I'm going to say may with a capital M-A-Y, may be coming to an end. Because someone's going to initiate the rent. Someone, we don't know who, is going to run the shutdown function. But he had previously already declared that even if someone did that, it doesn't do what they think it does. Meaning, let's say there's some low-level, obvious way people are able to do shit in mass. It doesn't mean that it's totally shut off or it can't be undone, or I don't know. I don't have a deep knowledge of how the Pdai contracts work. But I would imagine Ricky, as someone wholly invested in the success of his blockchain, had some really smart people, if not himself, look into the issue. He did add a disclaimer at the second message that you need to look into it yourself, even though it may be coming to an end. The second tweet that said it may be coming to an end, he said, I'm not a dev. That someone's running the shutdown function. You may need to look at this for yourself, because I'm not a dev. Well, damn, that's deep. That's hurtful, And the problem is today, everyone thinks the bottom is in. The 99th bottom on the Pulsechain wall is in. But all that web of bonded liquidity is still there, which means all those pairs can be sucked out by the Pdai that they're attached to, right? So people can use Pdai that isn't in liquidity pools to extract things of value, like specifically the coins that are in the bridge. See? So as people bridge in, they hold the Pulsechain or Pulsex or whatever shitcoin they think has value, and then someone uses Pdai, extracts it to that coin, the USDC, the USDT, or the Ethereum from Ethereum, and then they bridge it the fuck out and claim it through the bridge, and it comes out on the Ethereum side, and that's the extraction routine that's been happening the entire time. That's crazy. Now, what we haven't had since, I don't know when that happened. I don't know if that was like months ago, almost a year ago, or like around March, April, I guess. This was discovered or admitted at some point by Ricky, that this is a problem. We haven't had any definitive closure upon that, right? Like no one's saying anything. In fact, we've had more and more and more bottoms since then, including a very recent all-time low for Pulsechain, almost across the board for all the Ricky core coins. The hex hex from Ethereum, that shit. The one that shouldn't be affected by Pulsechain, guess what, man? That shit added a zero, bro. Like, it didn't even go to a penny or less. It went less than a penny and added a zero. Like, fuck, and now Pulse has dipped again. It looked like it's the bottom, guys. How many times you gonna fall for that? But I think on the level, it would be really nice if the founder, who's trying to make the world a better place and is the only guy trying to save you, instead of watching the members of his congregation, I won't even disrespect them by calling them a cult. They're just hopiumatics, and everybody is in crypto, right? So God bless them. But the members of his congregation try to hype people up. It's the local bottom is in. I saw that today. I'm like, can you stop? Can you stop? Can we get, it's still 85% off the sacrifice rates, which means, unfortunately for you sacrificers, right? Someone with a significant amount of money, assuming the Pdai loophole is closed, which we have no confirmation of from Ricky. We only had a May, and you might want to double check what the fuck I'm thinking is going on, because I'm not a dev, right? That disclaimer there is like, hey, assuming the Pdai thing that loop is closed, unfortunately for sacrificers, people can now come in, buy spectacular amounts of Pulsechain or any other coin that's at its all-time, let's just say Pulsechain and Pulsex, right? They can buy them at rates that are significantly greater than any bonus you were capable of receiving, okay? And they can dump for profit, okay? They can dump for profit lower than you with all your bonuses could have maximally received from sacrificing, which means this loop could continue indefinitely, where hopiumatics keep trying to buy the bottom, but some other entity continues to swoop in And because they're not waiting on the sack rate to recover, they can just dump out infinitely on your hopium over and over and over. And I'm pretty sure that's what's been going on, but someone's been getting greedy. Like, what really caused Ricky to come out at some point and even say something about the Pdai thing? You can't tell me he didn't know. They've only been talking about how all the Pdai liquidity has been burned and how someone, you think he didn't notice that lore? Like, I mean, Ricky's the smartest person in the world and he's the only one trying to save you. You mean to tell me that he didn't do his research? That he wasn't aware, whether it was true or false, that somebody, whether it was him or one of his devs or some of his dev team or all or in part, manipulated and minted a bunch of DAI before launch? Before you ever had a chance to look at Pulsechain or make a transaction. Fuck me, man. And you may never know unless you're going to download the whole blockchain and go find out, But some people, they, and it's the funny thing is about like all these people that are Pdai hopiumatics, they love to tell you, you just need to do your research. But like, what research? Why not just point it out? Where's the transactions for this, that, whatever? People are doing this, they're adding functions to the functions. But no, they always repeat and regurgitate what people that they don't know are saying and typing on X of all places, pretty much exploiting them in their hopium and having them say things that they don't know to be necessarily true or false, or whether it's going to be the thing that fixes or doesn't fix X, Y, or Z. I've been watching this same stupid loop of hopium for years. For people that are, it's like kind of like with Hex. There's like the thing with Hex is it went up so much that people became blind to possibilities that like this could be the reality today. That both the hexes combined could be a penny or less. That Pulsechain, even though it inflates, is 85% off. And PulseX, even though it is a fixed supply with a lot of it burning, allegedly, from either true or washed volume on PulseX, even though that supply is burning, it's still way down. Okay, what does this mean? I've watched this for time again. People is like, Hex went up so much, it just blinded them to this. Pdai went up so much, they're just like listening to people who sound like they have the technical understanding to explain reality to them, but really they're just blowing smoke up their ass so they don't dump their Pdai, or they keep accumulating while everyone else who does have access to all those loose coins that were minted pre-launch and after continue to dump on them, and they don't know why. Why won't Ricky fix that? If he's the greatest person in crypto, the only guy trying to save you, free self-help books, why isn't he just saying definitively one way or another? Doesn't he know Brezep? Wasn't Brezep trying to one-up Jack? Why can't he look into it on Ricky's behalf? No expectation of profit, but expectation of knowledge, because he's always trying to teach you something. Why do I have to tell you? Why do I have to teach you? Why don't you ever say this then? Why not just fix it? If the problem is fixable, fix it, right? He has the money. He has the power. It's his chain, right? Now, let's say that's, neither here nor there. He has the ability and influence to get smart individuals capable of telling you the truth to do a postmortem investigation on what the fuck is going on with Pdai, and if it is a fatal flaw to the entire blockchain, and just tell you the truth one way or the other. If not, you're all bringing people like lambs to the slaughter. This is the shit that Ricky used to stream about and hate about people he talked about. You guys are just bringing all your audiences to slaughter. You're pieces of shit, remember? Why is it, if he brought all of y'all to the Pdai slaughter by shilling it and telling you how much it went up, why isn't he fixing it equally? Because everyone makes mistakes. I'm not trying to, he's human. And I recognize that. I've made mistakes. I'm not a saint. You know what I'm saying? They once called me one, but I'm not. And I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm not, right? But why isn't he trying to fix it now? Why, and not fix it literally, as in fix the problem. fix your misunderstanding on it so that you know, not that you're guessing. Why is it suddenly, even though he's not a dev, he doesn't know a dev smart enough, even though he has flawless uptime for the hex code, right? He's put out an entire blockchain that hasn't gone down once yet. So even if he's not a dev, he knows the guys with the technical fucking ability to tell you the truth about Pdai. Is it okay or is it not? We don't need to guess. We don't need to argue in the comments. Ricky can just set the record straight. And you would think, as a good shepherd and a good steward of his own blockchain and all the hopium addicts tied to holding his coins, he would do the bare minimum and let you know that, because it's within his capability. He literally has nothing else to do. So why hasn't he? The theory behind this, which again is just a theory, is that why did he eventually tell you that something was going on? Maybe because, and I'm just speculating here, I'm saying allegedly, maybe, and I'm not saying it's true, I really hope it's not. Maybe that was the plan the whole time, to mint a fuck ton of Pdai, get a little social engineering attack going that tells everyone to pair their shit coins and their new projects to the Pdai coin, pump it a little bit, get everyone with some value in the chain buying the shit coin, while they just slowly bridge out every time money comes in. And I've been saying the whole time, what if that's what's been going on the whole time? Sure as shit stink. Liquidity comes in, it gets rugged right back out. By who? The people dumping Pdai. Now, why did he suddenly, very recently, say, hey, this might be a problem? Is it possible that him and his devs, him and or his devs, and I'm asking a question now, I'm not levying an accusation. Isn't it quite possible that this was his potential plan all the time, the whole time? Or a rogue or dirty dev on his team the whole time, to mint those Pdai, rug the liquidity out very slowly, albeit, but maybe at some point someone else figured out a way to join in on the action, okay? And then, like he said, I don't know, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Why was he suddenly incentivized to let you in on the secret that Pdai is what's been stealing all your fucking profit and hopium for 2-3 years now? Why so suddenly? Why does he even care? Oh, well, why can't you make the tricore? Don't say CZ posted a public buy and he can't make his coin go up. Tell the truth like you already have and say, because look, the Pdai has been, the web of toxic, poisonous Pdai liquidity has been rugging all your fucking dreams and hopes out of the chain. And it was either done accidentally, but common sense and the facts, if there are facts that prove that someone did something before the blockchain launched, then it's done on purpose. And that was someone's plan the entire time. And that's not in dispute. At least according to the OG of OGist Pdai hopium addicts, who were probably part of the social engineering attack that let you know that there are transactions that show or prove that these Pdai were minted pre-launch. So it had to be Ricky, and that means he supports it. So you should go at it with everything. And now you got caught holding the bag. Ricky can clear that up, though, and I don't mean to be dramatic. I'm sorry if I was. Once again, though, for a long time, and I'm sorry if I didn't reach you before, I've realized I have and I never knew. But because that person, whoever it was, you've inspired this video today, because I was joking around with the last one in a way. Like, let me just remind you of this to anybody who's starting to get bullish or hopium, like on Pulsechain. How can you? Did Ricky say that the Pdai thing is done? Is that loop closed? Or is it still an open loop? Where money could come in any fucking amount and they can just keep taking it from the bridge. Because the bridge, unfortunately, is where all the value lies. all that shit from Ethereum. And that might make you understand a little more why bro decided to keep all his money. We're going to say the sacrifices money is his money in Ethereum. Okay. And not use, very much of it, if at all. Yeah, you might use a little to pump your bags a little bit, get you excited again, so everyone starts FOMOing, and it's gone again and again and again and again, for not the 99th bottom on the wall, but the 100th and the 110th and 20th and 30th. You see? And like I said, I hope I'm wrong, man, and maybe this is the local bottom, whatever the fuck that means. It's either the bottom or it ain't. I don't want to hear no local bottom. Ain't no in between. I've been hearing this shit every month since Pulsechain fucking launched. I don't want to hear it anymore. You sound stupid. You look dumber. Like, cut it out. Either come with the facts or shut the fuck up. Shit or get off the pot. Tell the truth. Is it still exploited or is it fixed? So that people don't lose whatever value they've managed to hold on to anymore. I'm out.